Well, welcome to a new Harry's Farm video, and I'm pleased to report we've finished combining. The harvest is done for 23, and oh my goodness, it was stop go from start to finish with the weather we've experienced this year. Oh, it's so frustrating. We've had it very easy for several years with sort of big heat, little rain. I mean, last year it was off the scale. It was so hot, so dry for most of July and August. I record it, and there's just no rain you can see from last year. This year's rain chart looks completely different, and we are grabbing those days when you need one day to dry out, and then you can combine the following day is generally how it works, and then it will rain again. So yeah, very frustrating. But the good news is the wheat has really performed. I mean, it's a complete disaster in honesty rate, but the wheat has surprised me. What I actually did, we finished in the field over there the other night, and I jumped in the cab with Charlie just to watch the final bit of wheat going through the combine. So I'm going to play that clip then, and you can see the relief on our faces as we get that last bit of wheat in. I've just jumped into the combine because it is 10:15 and we're on the very last run.
Little stretch.
Yeah, I'll just turn it around. That's what we're staring at. A little strip of wheat, and it's the last bit of harvest 23. Yeah, which is, apart from the weather, has gone pretty well really, I would say.
Yeah, I'm knackered. I'd say I'm shattered.
Are you?
Yeah.
We were out last night, weren't we, to about 11, half 11, wasn't it, last night? Was it the combining, or was it something else?
No, it is. I don't have time for anything else.
No.
This time of year.
Just the concentration.
Yeah. I think we've discussed this before. It's not an inherently hard job to do, but it's just a lot of brain power because there's so many different things that you need to monitor at one time.
Yeah.
That's the sort of, where it sort of gets tricky. But
It's a slightly analogue combine, this one, isn't it, compared to a lot of, say, your levels and things. And this isn't actually the easiest of fields.
No, it's our one with a big hole in it.
It's big holes, and it's on a slope and that sort of thing. But look, it's the last bit. I'm up to record this bit, Charlie, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but 2023.
23, and I'm pleased because it seems to have been good. Oh, it's the last bit going in. Wish there's always, you want a little bit more, but there it goes. In it goes. That's that. Yeah, so I've got a map. Yeah, weirdly, yields, most people are having lower yields. We're actually having better yields this year than last year. We've changed variety. It's all stood up, straight feed variety, and yeah, it's good. We've got a bigger pile of wheat in the shed than we had last year, and we've got less acres of wheat this year, so it's all very odd.
But I think you need to mention that samples go out tomorrow.
Yes.
And then the true figure is not over until that last lorry is loaded and leaves the farm.
Exactly. All I'm going on, it's a bigger pile in the shed. There it is. There, it's just the last bit going in the trailer. Yeah, we wanted 10 trailers to break all records, and I think we're 1.5 short. I think. This is 9, isn't it? It's all. It's all good, it's all disappeared. Oh, it's all gone. Yeah, that's a shame. I was going to show some wheat in that tank, but it's gone. It's all in there now. Yeah, that's not a full trailer, is it?
No.
Never mind.
Quite far from.
Yeah. Yeah, a little wiggle. Yeah. There we are. Yeah, keep that running for a while, I suppose, won't we? Yeah, empty it out. And the other thing I haven't dared mention until this moment. Have you noticed something?
Yeah, I have. I didn't want to say anything either.
We've both been probably thinking it every day.
I think I can turn that off now, can't I?
Yeah.
Do you want to say it?
We haven't had any breakdowns.
Any breakdowns?
What happened?
So I just want that, the drum and everything.
You turn everything off.
Turn everything off.
I think we've both been thinking it's almost in the second and third day. Oh, we didn't have a breakdown. We didn't have a breakdown. I'm not going to say to Charlie there was no breakdowns.
I don't want to say anything.
I was waiting till the grain was actually in the tank.
Yeah.
And we were there. Well, congratulations on that. I mean, it's all down to the driver, I suppose, that, isn't it, really?
Yeah, definitely.
And
But it sort of does go to show that service.
It makes you think, doesn't it? We didn't. The other thing we didn't do this year is have the combine service. We just had a little check, went round, greased it up, checked the knives, did the usual things. I wasn't going to change the oil because it only does 40 odd hours.
Well, that's the thing, it does so few hours a season.
You just get to know a combine, really, don't you? No noises, you get used to it. You sort of know what's going to go. I think it's interesting that the main drive belt, I was told it won't last and you ought to change it, and that was 3 seasons ago.
Really?
Yeah.
What was the one that went
had
on?
A crack in it, and it's a hard one to change. You have to take various things on. Yeah. A little shake. There goes the belt, the drive belt.
Yeah.
So just a bit more. Oh, you got a bit more out. A bit more out. Anyway, we're going. Yeah, what time is it? 20 past 10. That's it. Almost 23. Back to the house.
I'm gonna have a beer.
I'd crack a beer. Yeah. Well deserved. I mentioned that the fact that we hadn't touched the combine this year, and that's quite a financial benefit. And I looked last year, we spent, I think it was £4,300 having the combine service. Yes, that did include changing all the chopper blades and the straw chopper in the back and an oil change and that sort of thing. What was annoying last year is that we'd only been going a few hours, and then the straw chopper bearing on the outside failed, just broke up, hadn't been greased, and that made me a bit grumpy because paying a fortune to have it serviced, and it was missed. And we settled on a further, I think it was £1,900 to have that done. So a big relief that there was no such costs for 23 harvest. I think we just changed a few blades. Charlie and I have sort of got to know this is the 6th harvest we've had with this combine. So you sort of get to know the machine. We looked round it, we changed a finger, and we had some blades changed, sections on the knife. And I think now we've put it away, all we can see, there's a knife sort of bent up on the front knife, a section rather, and I know there's this belt that needs changing at some point, but this is the 3rd season it's done, when I was told 3 seasons ago it wouldn't last another couple of hours. But anyway, it's hanging on in there. Next job is to obviously clean the combine properly. We've got industrial blower come in, and we'll give it a proper clean over the next couple of weeks. But here is the wheat, and as I say, it's a big pile of wheat, and it's the produce of 30 acres less than last year, and it's about the same to me. It looks 500 tonnes or thereabouts. I will not know the spec weight. As Charlie mentioned, I've sampled all this wheat. I've sent 6 samples off, and the key figure with the feed wheat is something called the kilo weight, spec weight, or bushel weight for the Americans, and that is the weight, the density of this wheat. And higher the density, spec weight, the more tonnage you have in the same size heap, and it's a quality standard as well. And Dawson has a high spec weight, so I am fingers crossed waiting for the results and see what we've got. The other great news is it's all dry, even in this season when majority of people have been drying their wheat. We haven't dried anything here. We've managed to combine everything dry. The only exception is at the back. I think there's some loads that we brought in about 15.5, 15.6 moisture. That's why we've got the fans on. You can just hear them in the background, but they're on a, they measure the humidity in the air, and they turn themselves on and off automatically and dry it. And of course they're powered by the solar panels we have on the roof. So they tend not to be going at night, those fans, because obviously the humidity goes up at night. So all good news here. I'm just waiting for the results. But what I've been doing now is I've got to cultivate all the stubble grounds, getting it ready to plant again for next time. So let's just go outside, see what we've been up to there. Well, this is where I was this morning, and the job I thought I was going to be doing today, and that was cultivating all the stubbles with this machine, this carrier, Vadestad carrier. So this has discs and then a packer roller. And what I'm trying to do here, we chopped all the straw this year. There's no baling been going on here. I wanted to incorporate all the straw, and you grow probably 2 tons to the acre of straw as well as the harvesting the wheat. So it's quite a lot to sort of incorporate into the soil. Now, some people are doing direct drill. I do this in incorporation, and you can see in those first discs that hit the ground are okay, fine. Then the following discs here are starting to bung up because unfortunately the soil is a bit plasticine-y, as you can see there. But you can see the effect I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get that mix of soil in there. It helps the worms, helps the straw break down. It gets some moisture to it, and it also means any weed seeds in there will chit as well. But this is a little bit too sticky. This is the frustration with 2023. No rain forecast today. I woke up this morning, came downstairs, and it started to rain. And it's just constantly fighting this annoying amounts of rain. Normally you get rain goes through and then you have a nice dry period and you can crack on. This year, very touch and go. But yeah, I'm looking forward to doing this. It's quite a pleasurable job, and it's nice when it's all clean like this. The thing with straw and baling is they need it dry as well, and this has been a really tricky year for getting straw in dry. It tends to have stayed out and you have to turn it or whatever, but none of those worries here. So yeah, this is my job for the next week, 2 weeks, going right around the farm, getting it all incorporated. You can hardly tell the difference once it's done, but there's quite a difference in a few days' time, because then the straw will start to break down. So anyway, that's what's going on in the cultivations. I want to quickly show you the grass, what will happen over there, and then I've got one bit of wild bird mix, which is spectacular. I have to say the Porsche Taycan Cross Turismo is not your average farmer car, but I've got it in for a couple of months to try. I want to try living with an electric car again. I did, I think it was about 2018 last time we lived with an electric car, and I'm living this one for a couple of months. What I quite like, it's got a gravel setting, so it's not exactly a Porsche 911 Dakar, but it does lift itself up like this. And when I had it in, it was about a year ago, I couldn't get over how good the traction was. So I went in a grass field, super steep, and it went up it, no issues, and it had no right to. But clearance isn't the best, and it hasn't got the proper tires in it. It's all a bit posh inside, a bit too much carpet really, no rubber mats. So I've been very careful with it where we take it. But what I wanted to come in here, this is where all that grass was, and they were cutting it for hay. Here are conveniently 2 bales left behind, but this gives you an idea of what it looks like. So it's a fine sort of grass. This isn't a ryegrass, quite a mix in it, and they're quite chuffed with how much they got off here. They use these big bales just because it's quicker, they're denser. If you're handling it with machines, you really don't want the small bales anymore. But they got quite a lot off here, and this grass has been down now about 15 years or so, and it's a real mix of all sorts of varieties, but it has very high clover content. You can sort of see from here, very high, so it's actually quite nutritious, and they're probably very pleased with the amount they got off here. And it's greening up straight away because of the wet summer we've had, and they'll be grazing this off with cattle, I would expect, in a few weeks' time. Anyway, one more thing to show you, and that's a wild bird mix that has just gone to just look spectacular with colours like you've never seen before. Well, this is my other area of wild bird mix, and look at it. It's just a sea of borage. Now this block we did put down to borage some years ago, and quite often it gets swamped with other things, but this year with this amount of moisture it's come back with a vengeance, and all this is absolutely full of bees. We've got some hives here and they are just loving it. Borage honey is very, very good, so the local beekeeper is very happy with this block of about, well, it's 2.5 acres I think of borage out here. There is mustard, there is some sunflowers in here, there is some rye. I can just see just coming up here, there's some rye which I put in, but it is being dominated by this borage this year. Don't know why you get these funny years, but there is some mustard out there as well. And then you can sort of see the blackberries. It's also a very good year for blackberries with the constant moisture that we've had, and the birds don't seem to be attacking it as yet, so we'll share some of this with the wild birds, but we might have some for ourselves. So there you go, there's an update on Harry's farm. Combining over, harvest over, all attention now of getting the next crop in. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, well, keep watching, keep subscribing. More videos coming on very soon.